Hi there and welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm IceMan and today we are going to be doing a champion guide again on Zavia this time. So literally today they have just brought out a new patch that has changed up her AI, so she will no longer use her A3 in the clan boss. Now this is huge. This means that she's now clan boss viable, whereas before she was, but you would have to manual the whole thing, and you know, if you're doing an unkillable team where you're running up to turn 50, that's really complicated, really hard. You've got to know exactly when to use all your abilities, and it would take absolutely ages, so nobody ever really bothered with that, to be fair. You'd just swap in other champions that you could let run. Now that you can do this, absolutely brilliant news. So anyway, let's take a look at Zavia. We're not just about the clan boss, we're here to look at the champion herself. Absolutely brilliant champion. Looks like a fallen angel. She's a Dark Elves champion, legendary, obviously, attack based. And she's Force Affinity. And I have to say, I absolutely love this champion. As always, Plarium really do amazing artwork with their champions. And she's certainly another one of my favourites. I think she looks absolutely brilliant. I must admit, she looks slightly better here in this screen than she does when she's playing. Then you're sort of just seeing the back and the trench coat and not appreciating the look of her. When you're fighting against her in the arena or something, you can see her, she looks better, obviously. But obviously from behind, this is sort of the view you're getting when you're using her a lot of the time. So, or depends. I mean, obviously if you're using something where you're going sideways, and this is more the view you're getting. But yeah, still very cool looking champion. So we're going to start off and we are going to have a look at her skills. And A1 Transfix attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 40% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. So this is really nice. 3 hits. It's annoying you can't book it up. It only takes 3 books at least, so it's not a lot, and you're just booking damage. 40%. It'd be nice if you could book that up a little bit higher to give you a bit more chance on your hits. But you know, if you proc right, you can still land all 3, which is great. And it lasts for 2 turns. Then you've got her A2 Poison Rain, attacks all enemies 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. This can also be booked up. Again, only 4 books here, so all in all 7 at this point, so she's actually very good for books. And 3 of those are actually really useful for increasing her chance by up to another 25%, so you're talking 75% on each hit. It'd be nice if it was 100%, don't get me wrong. I'd like that, but still 75% on each hit is still very good. And yeah, she can lay poisons like no tomorrow. Brilliant champion for it. And then moving on to her A3, this is the ability she's most known for. This is her big ability. Deadly Catalyst attacks all enemies. Enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived. Deals damage from all poison debuffs on the target instantly. Poison debuffs will only deal half of the standard damage when this skill hits bosses. So, you know, hitting bosses, it's only going to deal half the damage, which is where it didn't really work well with the clan boss. You wanted the poisons up there ticking. It did a lot more damage that way. Using her ability and wiping off all the poisons actually did you more harm than good, so it wasn't worth it. In the arena, this gives her a block revive, so she can be a very viable and very good arena champion. I've not got her built that way. I use Abbas as my arena nuker. I tried her out a little bit, did build her for that initially. Obviously I'm now building her for clan boss, so I'm not going to be using her in the arena, but if you do, it gives you a block revive on that, and it's an AoE, so you've got 2 AoEs on her, which is good. And then yeah, she's got another ability. Calamitous Partner attacks one enemy, applies a debuff spread effect, taking 4 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. This is only available when Bellinor is on the same team. I don't have him, so I can't showcase that, unfortunately. And then she's also got a very nice aura, increases ally attack in all battles by 33%. This is huge, it's big. The one I tended to use a lot for this was Septimus, and I think his was like 23%, 24%. So you're getting a nice solid boost there using her instead. And if we go take a look at her artifacts, now I'm going to start right out. I do always go out of my way to try and make these as accessible as possible, but this is the build I've just built today for use in the clan boss. It is harder to get her to work there because obviously it depends on the comp you're using. Obviously, she's going to be a great poisoner if you're using her in a standard clan boss team. If you're using her unkillable team that is unkillable from a very early stage, you can just build a pure out damage and she's going to be absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, I'm using the slow double man eater, which means I've got to keep her alive till turn 7. It's a good comp. It has low speed requirements, which is the main reason I'm using it, and I had the champions I needed for it. There are other comps that can use some fairly slow speed requirements. There are other comps out there that use some slow speed requirements, but I had the champs for this one. This is what I built. So it means I've got to keep her alive to turn 7, which is not so easy to do. So I do apologise, but she is in 2 pieces of 6-star gear here. Having said that, one of the pieces she's in is basic common white boots, purely because I needed the crit rate. So anyway, what have we... actually, we'll start off with the total stats. We've got her up to 39,000 health. Again, this is obviously due to the fact that I need to keep her alive to get her through to turn 7 on the clan boss, which on negative affinity like it is today, for our clan, it's difficult, but she actually works, which, you know, normally when I have mostly used spirit champions, Septimus, Cult Brawler and Fane, with the 2 man eaters. Obviously they're never weak, being void. And I found a problem whereby every time it went to magic, I had to pull out all 3 of my spirit champions because I could not keep them alive to turn 7. I tried keeping in 1 or 2 just to sort of improve the damage, like say keep Septimus in there to improve the damage and also apply that debuff, increased duration that he does, debuff extender. But again, I was finding that even with just him in there as a spirit champion, he was still getting killed and I could not keep him alive to turn 7. So then I'd have to swap out for an entirely different team which did nowhere near as much damage, and meant I also had to have a whole separate team built up, which was really annoying. I wouldn't say Zavia's necessarily fixed that for me, and I may still have that same problem, and we're going to have to take a look at it when it rolls around again. But what I did find is Zavia, at least with this health, I've managed to get her through. It's very touch and go, it's very close, you might have to try a few runs, you're going to fail on a couple maybe occasionally, but with this sort of stats I managed to keep her alive to turn 7 and do some serious damage with her still, so as you'll see later on, which is very good. So we've got the 39,000 health, 4,000 attack, 1,600 defense. Her base defense is again shockingly low at 700 and something, so it's really hard to build that up, which is why I concentrated more on the health to try and keep her alive. I've got her at 174 speed, which is what I needed her at for my clan boss runs. I've got her at 104 crit rate. Now, most guides will tell you when you build Zavia, you don't want to build her for crit rate and crit damage, because her deadly catalyst ability that blows up all the poisons only takes damage out of attack, so it's based off attack, so you want to get the attack really high, which is true when you're using her in places like the dragon and Fire Knight and wherever else you're using her, or even in the arena if you're using the A3. But when you're using her other abilities, that's not the case. With her other abilities, they're normal abilities, you know, they're hitting, they're doing damage. Yes, they're laying poisons and stuff as well, but they're still normal hitting abilities that do damage. And for her, I personally still use crit rate and crit damage, so we've got her up to 104 crit rate, 200 crit damage. I would like that higher, but you know, with these unkillable comps, trying to get the speeds exact, I could have had slightly higher crit damage, but then I wouldn't have the right speed, so you know, the speed's important here more than anything. You need that right where you need it. The same with the accuracy, you need it high enough to land the debuffs, so that's what you prioritise. Again, we've got the needed accuracy. She's not going to be amazing for me in the Doomtown with accuracy like this. I do need to improve it and tweak her gear, maybe even have a gear set that I could swap onto her if they ever bring out free gear swapping, or alternate sets that you could at least equip on people and you can swap between them. Something like that would at least mean that you could have a gear set that's specifically for one place and then swap out to another set without costing you anything. It means building more gear sets, but you know, it'd still be better than where we're currently at. So without taking too long to do this, we've got an accuracy banner with obviously speed, attack and defensive substats. Again, crit damage, neck. I would have been tempted, like I say, to go for attack, build her out for that deadly catalyst, but since you don't use it in the clan boss and that's the main place I want to use it, I mean, I do want to use her in dungeons too, don't get me wrong. But I've got a good solid attack on her and I am going to try and improve that over time. I did have an attack ring, but I've had to swap that out for a defensive ring, and I needed to, this is the reason this is a 6-star piece, I needed this as high as I could get it. This luckily actually had a double roll and attack anyway, so I've actually still got 20% attack on this, plus a good amount of health and defense. And I really do need those defensive stats on her to keep her alive on Spirit Affinity. I'm sure on the other affinities it won't be anywhere near as much a problem. She'll probably sail through. I even had to change up her masteries for this reason, which we'll get to in a minute. Speed boots, and obviously we've gone for, I've got a broken set here because again it's what I could do to get the stats I needed. We've got a lot of stats on this character because obviously we want the crit rate, we want the crit damage, we want the accuracy, we want the speed just right, we want the attack, we actually want the health and defense as well. So to use on clan boss like this, you need everything basically, and it's really hard to build. So she's in a broken set, but we've got her in a cruel set and a crit rate set. Obviously the cruel set boosts. We've got an attack chest. I haven't swapped that out yet. That's still possibly something that might have to get done, but then it means reworking the speed gear and having to swap out multiple other pieces again to try and get the speed just right where I need it for clan boss, which is annoying to say the least. But it is what it is. So at the moment she's in an attack chest, crit damage gloves, and as you can see we've still managed to get the crit rate up, so that's nice. This has also got some defensive stats on it, and that's basically the way we've gone through. So you know, triple rolling crit rate, triple rolling crit rate, some crit rate, some accuracy, because obviously we do need that accuracy to be landing on debuffs, some HP, some crit damage. She's basically got all the stats we need, and she needs all the stats basically. The only thing we've not worried about really with her is resistance. So it's been a hard build to be fair, but an interesting one. So let's take a look at her masteries. Don't know why I'm clicking on that. So initially I did build her out for the offense tree and the support tree, so that I could go down and master the Hexa and get the extended debuff, which I think if you can manage to do it is the way to go, because obviously it's going to increase ticks of poison, and ticks of poison are what really does damage in the clan boss if that's where you're wanting the user. Unfortunately, if you want a user on a negative affinity like I was trying to do, it doesn't work. You need that extra defense, that extra support that you get from the defense tree to keep her alive, so that's why I've had to swap it out. If I choose at some stage to use a cold brawler instead, or build an entirely different unkillable team, then this may well change up at that point. In fact, it almost certainly would if I change up teams, or if I bring in a cult brawler instead for the spirit boss, which I may well do, at which point I'll change this up again and come over here to see if I can get more damage out of her, but it just means I won't be using her on spirit. But I wanted to do this today, I wanted to showcase her today, so I built it this way to manage to do it. You know, you can go either tree if you can get it to work for what you want it to work for. obviously we've got defense, mitigation from AoE damage, chance to remove a random debuff, limits the amount of damage from a specific champion, and then we've got retribution, which when you lose health gives you a chance to counter attack, so that's good there. That never really procs too much for me, to be fair, which is again why I'd rather be here, because I don't do enough healing to heal enough to lose 25% to then be proccing it. I've taken it anyway just on the off chance, but realistically it's mainly for the defense stats here. Because I'm in an unkillable team that uses low health, we've gone for the increased Grim Resolve, which increases damage when attacking below 50% HP. Crit rate, crit damage, obviously. I've taken the Life Drinker to try and help keep her alive to that turn 7. Increases damage inflicted to targets with less than 40% HP. Obviously that helps at the moment where the clan boss is low. Increased damage inflicted when attacking targets with a higher max HP. And we've gone down into Giant Slayer. You know what, actually I'm going to do the right thing here. I've suddenly realised I made a mistake. So I am going to move myself all the way over here so you can actually see what I'm on about. So, like I say, straight down the offense tree, taking all these as we go. And then you've gone into Giant Slayer, so you can see how I've done that there. And I might as well move myself back now. Try and get that right. So that's that in a nutshell, and since it is where I feel she's mainly going to be best used for, we're going to show the results, not the run, unfortunately, because I didn't record it. And you know, if you've watched my double man eater, slow double man eater video before, you've seen how this works, seen how it sets up anyway, so it doesn't really show you anything new. The interesting part comes at the end when you see the results, which is what I'm going to show you now. Okay, so we came in at 31.98 million with Zavia on the Spirit Affinity clan boss, which you know, is absolutely amazing. And if we look at the damage, Zavia actually did the most damage here. Now I usually tend to get sort of 33 to 37 with RNG dependent and whatnot, if I'm on Spirit Affinity, usually with Occult Brawler. So I usually get the higher ones obviously when I'm on Force, but as you can see, Septimus has come in at a nice healthy 6.2 million. Fane's got 8.5, and Zavia really took the biscuit here with 9.6, nearly 9.7 million. So you know, definitely the MVP of the round. Why my overall score's not quite as high as it was, I'm guessing part of that is RNG. On previous runs where I was trying to get her to work and trying to keep her alive to that turn 7, and fiddling around with things to get her working, I already had her at the right speed, but you know, with her being negative affinity here, this was getting her killed, so it was a lot of work to try and get her to actually survive to turn 7. I've more than likely lost some damage for that, and you'd probably be better off, to be fair, if you've got the champions to do it like I did, using say Occult Brawler, Fane, or whoever you're using. You know, using 2 Spirit Affinity Poisoners in this situation, and then use Zavia for your Force and your Magic. Although to be fair, on your Force you're actually going to only be equal, but then she does put out more damage even on a negative affinity, so you know, it just depends how it goes. I'm guessing she'd put out even more on when she's neutral, so your option is to swap in somebody else for her on Spirit, and you might get more damage out of it, you might not. RNG dependent. Like I say, initially she was actually placing a lot more poisons early on my setup runs where I was trying to get her to work and it wasn't working, and then on this run, right at the start, she was getting loads of misses and not landing the poisons, and yet she still come out on top for damage. So yeah, I find that quite interesting personally. You know, overall it's still a good run. It's not bad. We're not quite at the 2 key territory with that, but it'd be interesting to see what it's like when she's strong and neutral. But it just goes to show with the update she does work, and she actually works well and does a lot of damage. So moving on. Okay, so you've had a look at the results. As you saw, very good. She does a lot of damage, and that's on a negative affinity, so you can imagine how much better it's going to be when she's neutral or when she's actually strong. So she's going to be a big boost to me, I think, going forwards. Next up, we are going to show her in some dungeons. Right, so I'm not going to show her in Clan Boss Arena, because I've not built her for Arena. She's not built fast, she's not built in the correct way to do the sort of damage that we want for Arena. If you're going to use her there, is she viable? Yes, she's actually very viable. Good nuker for there. Obviously I've got a nuker for there that I'm happy with, so I'm not going to mess around showing her in there instead. She's got the block revive, which is very handy, and 2 AoEs, which is again very good. So Spider's Den, I wouldn't personally use her there myself. The main places I would use her and do use her is Dragon's 20. If I was going to drop anybody out of this team, just so that I could bring in food for runs and the like, I would probably drop Coldheart, to be honest, because with Zavia, with her poison explosion and all the rest of it, you do enough anyway, so you don't necessarily need Coldheart. It'll just be a slightly slower run on the boss, and that's really the only reason Coldheart's here, is to help do the boss slightly quicker. So again, Fushan, well, he does bring stuns, he brings that crowd control, so very useful. But again, if I was going to try bringing more food in, it'd probably be keep Abyss in and Zavia and see if that's enough damage, and see if we can keep people alive that way to bring even more food in. See, we've got the decreased defense and Wheaton out there. Didn't need to bring anybody else in for that. And look at how quick we're burning through her there. This dragon's going down. As you can see, she's absolutely amazing for that. Obviously, we've got a lot of champs in here that help us clear the waves. Absence of brilliant nuker. I've done a separate video which I will ping up there. Give it a click, give it a look if you want to have a look at it. She is a brilliant nuker, absolutely love her. Obviously Zavia did the lion's share of the damage here, as she did in Clan Boss with those poisons. Coldheart's coming in close second. Abyss, although doesn't do as much, it really does help clear those waves. Fushan does a fair bit on the waves, stunning them up and keeping them going, so it's a good team that works well together. And we're going to move on now to our last dungeon. She might be able to do Ice Golem, but I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not going to comment on that one. I think she's the wrong affinity there, I believe. so that wouldn't really work out necessarily. It might do, it might not. I haven't tried it, but this is one place where I feel she can be very useful. So we will bring out Fane and we'll bring her in. Fane, another great champ. Obviously, as you saw, I use with my clan boss runs, and I've also got another video coming out on her shortly. Obviously, this is a very legendary heavy team. Having said that, the two most shining, most necessary people here are actually the two lower class people. We've got one epic and one rare that actually carry the team. On my alternate account, I don't have Cold Heart, and trying to do Finite and trying to do Spiders without a Cold Heart is just really difficult, really annoying. I've even gotten a lore on those accounts, but without Cold Heart it's still very, very difficult. To be fair, on my alternate account, I don't think I've got a Septimus, a Royal Guard, or anybody like that either, so I don't have anybody that can sort of replace her either. Now, I'm sure you've seen other people do quicker runs with her. You know, people I do gaming and stuff, they'll do absolutely amazing fast speed runs out there, but they're proper endgame players running in full endgame gear. I like to run my champions in more attainable sort of mid-game gear, which is more or less where I'm at myself anyway. I'm slightly above that maybe, but not a lot. I'm certainly not endgame. Let's keep that shield down, shall we? No. Oh. Might have some trouble here with the turn meter. I'm not convinced we'll actually keep that shield down. You saw the nice chunk of damage there where Deadly Catalyst went off. I was using Abyss in here before, I think, in this role, but obviously Zavia's got multi-hits, helps with the shield better, helps do more damage to the boss. I still get decreased defense and weaken between Arbiter and Fushan. And there we have it, 2 minutes 51, so not too bad. I mean, obviously my fastest run is 2 minutes 24, so that's probably well within my normal range. I wouldn't say she necessarily sped anything up there, but again, you look here, she did 1.8 million damage, by far beat anybody here again, even Cold Heart. Like I say, she's an absolutely astronomical champ, absolutely brilliant. I only recently pulled her in between a shard pull, annoyingly. I would have loved to have got that on camera, but I was just sort of in a funk and thought, you know, I'd pull a few shards just to make myself happy, and it worked. I pulled Zavia. She's an absolutely amazing champion, and now with the new AI fixes, she's an even better champion because you can use her in clan boss, which is just absolutely amazing, you know. So she's now going to be a clan boss champion for me in a role that I was struggling on. I'd imagine even if I still can't keep in my poison, my spirit champions, I will be able to pull out my Frozen Banshee, who, although she's good, I don't think she's amazing. She doesn't put up anywhere near enough poisons for me. And I can replace her with Zavia, and Zavia will come in and just fill that poison bar, especially with the ally attack that I run there. So, you know, it's just brilliant. I might even look at swapping out. No, I mean, you know, I've got to play around with it, see how it works, see if I can really get the best damage I can when I'm on Magic Affinity, but at the moment she's definitely going to be a massive help there. As you can see, she's good arena champ with that block revive. She can be a really good nuker. She's not top tier nuker, I'd say, for that, but she is good. And if you pull her and you ain't got anybody better, she'll definitely do a lot of work for you there. She's got great leading aura, which obviously gives a lot of damage in all battles, well, attack anyway. She can do work for you in the Fire Knight, she can do work for you in the Dragon. Let me know if she's any good in the Ice Golem. I'll give it a try myself later, I'm sure, just to see how I go. Great in the clan boss now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.